What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. No intro, no flashy stuff. I'm gonna get straight into it. The Giants have gotten their second win of the season so far. I did not expect this. I've been telling people we probably would lose this game by multiple scores, at least about 10 points. That's what I was expecting. Definitely. I went on the Panthers podcast, Panthers Nation podcast. Definitely check them out. I went over there for a stream, and I pretty much told them, listen, the Giants are not playing good football. They're not executing. They're not tackling. Anytime they're in a situation where they need to win a game, and it's something that needs to be made, they don't make those plays. Again, they're the worst tackling team in the league. Um, they're missing way too many guys. You got Andrew Thomas out. You got your top three wide receivers out. And this is before I even knew Shep would be out. Um, a ton of things going wrong with the Giants. I mean, everything was looking like this would be another 10 plus point loss, double digit loss. And it wasn't. We started this game off, gave up that field goal in the opening drive. They pretty much went right down the field. But after that, pretty much everything stalled out. We didn't give up too many big plays at all. I mean, the longest play we might have given up was probably about 20 something yards. We were stuck a couple of times in the red zone without making any plays. DJ threw what looked like was a touchdown to Kyle Rudolph. I was excited about that. I was excited that they actually involved him once they got inside the 20 because we brought him in here to be a red zone threat and we haven't even targeted him down there. So that showed that guess what? Maybe you should try to get him involved in the red zone some more. I want to see that some more. I want to see some targets, sort of up. You know, don't you don't have to throw like a rocket to Kyle Rudolph. Put some air under it, lob it, and let him go up and get some passes. So it was good to see him get some targets down there in the red zone. This is the Giants' first win at home this season, and we wait way too long to get home to get wins at home. It's been very difficult to come by. Shout out to all the Giants fans that were able to get down there and see a home win because it's rare to see. But back to Rudolph, I was just glad to see him getting involved. Um, the offense again, they stalled out. We tried to punch it in, couldn't get into the red zone, and couldn't get into the end zone. What else is new? That was definitely an issue all game this game, but again, couldn't do that. A couple of other times we got down there, just couldn't execute. We spent a lot of time inside their 50 on their side of the field, and we had a ton of mistakes, which really prevented this game from really getting out of hand. I mean, it got out of hand, but we could have really put up about, 30, 40 plus points on the board, and we just couldn't do it. We just couldn't get it done. So, still, despite those mistakes early on in the game, we were able to kind of lock in, put together a couple of good drives to ice this game. The drive that comes to mind is the drive that's going to come to everyone's head. Daniel Jones. We run a Philly special. Daniel Jones is running. They're actually playing it pretty well. And the guy reaches out with one hand, catches the ball with one hand. I mean, that's what you want. Daniel Jones, when I say it and I mean it, man. Daniel Jones is a football player. And when people say that, it sounds like a cliche, but he's a football player. I mean, that's how you can describe him. He's a guy that doesn't get a ton of credit because a lot of times things go wrong. Like the Rudolph touchdown, they take that off the board for him. Would have had two touchdowns, now he has one. They almost took the second one off of him, but he doesn't care about those kind of stats. He's a guy that's going to run the ball, put his head down, get into the pile. He doesn't see himself as a quarterback, someone that's isolated from the rest of the team. He sees himself as a straight up football player. The dude puts out his hand and catches the ball while his safety is coming over the top and hitting him in the helmet. How many quarterbacks in the league do you see that are going to reach out for that ball like that and fully extend with one arm and risk getting hit like that? You rarely see that. And I know if he would have gotten really hit in his head and he got knocked out and concussed, people would be crucifying him. People would be saying, what a stupid decision by Daniel Jones. But that's just what you get with the guy like this that really will put his body and soul on the line every single snap. You want to talk about somebody that's going to play 60 minutes, that dude is going to do it. Really gutsy game from him. Didn't have protection all day. Ran a ton of RPO. And that kind of transitions to Jason Garrett. Can we please give credit where it's due when it needs to be given? Jason Garrett called a beautiful game today. He called a beautiful game. Yes, he had a couple of, this happens. Every single offensive coordinator has a couple of plays where you say, I don't like that. But for the most part, Jason Garrett moved the pocket. Jason Garrett did not let the Panthers defense highlight what was our weakness. Our biggest weakness, even more than the top three receivers out, is the fact that we have our center, our left guard, and our left tackle that we thought would be our starters day one. None of them are there. So guess what he did against Hassan Reddick, against Brian Burns, who, when we just played straight up football, got right into the backfield. Guess what he did? He moved the pocket. He ran some RPOs, made them have to worry about Daniel Jones possibly keeping the ball. He ran some options. He really made those defenders on the edges have to think. And that way they weren't able to just get into a rush and just pin their ears back and come at Daniel Jones. He did that all game long. And guess what? We gave what, about 2 or 3 sacks? But for the most part, that pressure didn't really affect us. I mean, I guess on one other throw, DJ got hit when he threw, but if he didn't, it would have been a touchdown to Slayton down the left sideline. But other than that, the pocket held up because of the scheme. What happened when Cunningham came into the game? DJ rolled right, DJ rolled left, made a ton of plays that way. So I was happy to see what Jason Garrett did calling these plays today. Definitely, outperformed what I thought, because I thought that this Panthers defensive line would be all in the backfield all day, wreaking havoc. And because of the scheme, they weren't able to do that. Some other things I wanted to kind of, point out before I switch over to the defense. Devontae Booker, guess what? You gave him a crease, he made a play. Gave him another crease, he made another play. You give him just off of that speed option that Devontae Booker got. Once he caught that ball, you see how quickly he got up the field? You see how much authority he kind of gained once he got that ball and saw any kind of open space ahead of him? Right after that, he's a different runner. I'm telling you, Devontae Booker needs blocking. He needs someone to block for him. He needs holes. He's not this superstar all-pro running back that we all expected him to be. He's just not that guy. We need someone to block for Devontae Booker, because you saw when we block for him, the dude gets yards. 28-yard touchdown. When does that come from? That comes from being at the end of the game, tiring out that defensive line, and getting that big play. Devontae Booker is a good player. He had a drop today, but other than that, he's a good player, and I think we need to block for him. Stop killing Devontae Booker and stop killing Kyle Rudolph, because they're not being given chances to do what they do best. So that's everybody I wanted to point out on the offense. On the defense, Leo showed up. Dex showed up. 2 holding calls and a sack. You asked me, that's 3 sacks, because on those 2 holdings, he would have had sacks. So Dexter Lawrence dominated this game, dominated the line of scrimmage. Now the Panthers offensive line had guys. They definitely had guys out. They had guys that they were missing, and I knew that. I knew that we probably would get a little pressure down there in the middle of the offensive line and even on the edges, but I didn't think that would be enough to really take over the game. But these guys really put their foot down and they said, listen, we are completely, they're not in our class. We need to take over this game. Leo collapsed the pocket all day long. Dex collapsed the pocket all day long. Lorenzo Carter did a couple of great things in the run game. Same thing with Aziz in the run game. Also, he got 3 sacks? 3 sacks, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure he came away with 3 sacks for this game, which would have put him, or maybe 2.5. Maybe he got 2.5 sacks. But yeah, came away with 2.5 sacks this game. So that puts him at what? 5.5 sacks on the season. So he's doing his thing. 5.5, basically 6 sacks. They should have gave him a full sack for that sack earlier that Leo missed the sack, and then Aziz came in and cleaned it up. But Aziz showed up, balled out. He was unblockable at times. I mean, he just was so fast off of the edge. And I think this is going to build confidence. And you'll start to see Aziz make more of these plays as he has confidence, as he's not thinking as much about what he has to do and a whole bunch of things that don't really matter. He's getting locked in, and Aziz showed up today. Leo, Aziz, Dexter Lawrence dominated this game. Roche had a couple of nice plays. McKinney stepped in his first game as a Giant, had a couple of nice plays. The tackling got a little bit better. It still has some ways to go. Adoree Jackson, I like that he came up and made a tackle. Nice stout tackle. We need him to be that guy that makes tackles. Bradbury had a good game for the first time in a long time. Caught an interception. Didn't really give up much. Logan Ryan was breaking on the ball. It looked like last year's defense, but guess what? We were playing one of those, low tier subpar quarterbacks. So hopefully they can build off of this, carry that confidence in the next week and the week after. But this defense really came to play. They only gave up 3 points, and they really did a great job there. Other than that, I went over Jason Garrett. Patrick Graham, I'll give him props because anytime you only give up 3 points, you did a great thing. You got a safety, you gave up 3 points, you forced a couple of turnovers, did a great thing. So great game. Joe Judge, people tried to criticize him for not going for it on that 4th and 1 at the 35. But guess what? He kicked that field goal that basically puts the game out of reach. So I have no problem with that. Other than that, great win. Just good to get a win, man. Just good to get a win always. And we got a tough game coming up. I don't care how many points the Chiefs lost by last week. It is a tough game coming up. Anytime Patrick Mahomes is out there, I don't know if he's going to play because he left the game earlier today. But if he is playing, and even if he's not, with that evil genius, Andy Reid up there, it's always going to be something tough. So tough game coming up next week, but enjoy the game. Enjoy the win this week, especially at home, people. Let's get it. Giants finally get their second win of the season.